in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my own personal business finance routine. So I'm going to share with you what that looks like when I do it and what tasks I complete. I am a big believer in finance routines because I really believe for a busy entrepreneur and a busy business owner, it's so helpful to pick specific moments in the week or in the month to complete certain tasks and really also to focus in on the numbers of your business to really stay on top of it. It's a little bit like exercising regularly or staying on top of your diet. It's something that requires a little bit of discipline, but it really helps you keep you focused. And I also know it gives you so much confidence and peace of mind as you do it. So on a weekly basis, I will basically do three main tasks. So firstly, I will focus on any bills or invoices that I've received. I will input them into my bookkeeping software, which for me is QuickBooks. And I will schedule the payment or do the payment if they need to be paid urgently. Secondly, I will focus on the exciting part, if any clients paid me. So again, I will have a look at the bank, see if there was any money that came in to pay invoices, and I will mark those invoices as paid in my bookkeeping software. I find here that it's helpful to keep on top of that, and if there are any invoices that are late, I can then get in touch with the client to resolve the issue. And then thirdly, I will basically do my basic bookkeeping. So for me, I work in QuickBooks, so I go and have a look at my bank feed, and I will basically categorize the transactions accordingly. For some people, doing that weekly might be a bit intense. You might not have that many transactions, but I find for me, it really helps me sort of still remember, it's still fresh in my memory what happened last week. So I like to do that as well. I just want to make a quick little note here and say that in some seasons of business, I will also have a look at the cash position of my business. So I will have a look at, okay, what am I expecting to have to pay over the next week? What am I expecting to come in over the next week, so that I can keep a tight eye on, what cash is coming in and out. If you've got a smaller cash balance within your business, this can also really help you stay on top of the cash that you might need to continue to run your business, and again will give you peace of mind that you'll be able to fulfill your business commitments. So that can be an added point. In addition to my weekly practices, I take out a little bit more time on a monthly basis to complete some finance tasks, but to also deep dive a little bit into the numbers of my business. I find it really helpful to take out some time and evaluate how the last month has been, maybe make some adjustments, and also plan for the future. I find that if you just take some time once a month, it can just be such a helpful practice to help you think critically about what's happening in your business. So firstly, every month I've got the very exciting task of invoicing. So personally, I'm a service provider, so I work with clients usually on a monthly basis or on a retainer. So I will take some time, usually the last working day of the month, to evaluate, have a look at what work I did for what clients, and then invoice them accordingly. Secondly, there's the equally important and exciting task of paying myself. Obviously, this depends on how you are set up as a company, but I will run a payroll for myself or transfer money to myself in the form of a dividend. Thirdly, I will basically zoom in on the bookkeeping of my business. So I categorize transactions on a weekly basis, but on a monthly basis, I will basically check that everything has been matched, and then I will move on to a process that is called reconciling. Now, reconciling, briefly put, it's basically double checking that the information that you have in your bookkeeping software actually reflects the reality. And you do this by double checking that the bank balances are the same. It's a feature that exists within most bookkeeping software. So once I've done that, it actually gives me the confidence that I know that the numbers that are in my bookkeeping software are actually, correct, and they reflect reality. So if I'm going to be looking at my profit and loss, or if I'm going to be looking at my cash balance, I know that they will reflect the reality and I can confidently take decisions. As a last monthly step, I will basically take some time out every month to do what I call a review preview. Now, I really believe this is one of the most vital steps, but also one of the most forgotten steps for most entrepreneurs and business owners. But it's really taking out a moment to have a look at your numbers. You know, you've done all this effort to keep your books up to date and to keep them correct. And there is usually a wealth of information about your company's performance in those numbers. So I will take a moment to really zoom in on that. I'll have a look at my sales. I have a look at my cost structure. I have a look at maybe some unexpected things that happened, how to avoid them, and how to plan accordingly. If your business runs on a budget, this is also the time where you will do a sort of a budget versus actual. So you'll look at what actually happened within your company versus what you budgeted. And you can really see if you are on track to achieve your goals, if you maybe need to make some adjustments, some different decisions, but it will really help you just be more aware of what's happening within your business and actually use all the financial information that you have to make solid financial decisions. Now, the good news is if you really keep up to date with your bookkeeping, with your reconciling, with making sure that your financial information is correct, once a year tax moment comes around, you really won't have a lot of work and you won't have a lot of stress. The only thing I do on a yearly basis is I just make a note of important deadlines of submission, whether that be corporation tax, whether that be a personal tax return, self-assessment return, whatever it is, and basically then also make a note 3 months or 6 months in advance that I need to find an accountant or I need to hand over my books to that tax preparer to make sure that they've got enough time to prepare it for me. But there really won't be a lot of extra work in those moments if you stay on top of what you do weekly and monthly. So that was it for today's video. I hope it was helpful and inspired you to make your very own finance management routine. I know it will help you out so much. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, pop any questions you might have in the comments, and definitely subscribe so you can keep up to date with more business finance content to come. And I will see you in my next one.